let's continue with the presentation of Elisabeth, and then if you have more questions for Stefan, then we take them at the end. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so we've only got like a nice little group of participants here, and although people also watch the recording, but can you maybe put in the chat box what I should focus on in the next little while, like, because I can do this presentation, and I also wanted to give you like a tutorial where I share my screen and I show you how to do things in Wikipedia. So I just need to get a feel for what you're more interested in. Do you want to hear more about Wikipedia, or do you want to know how to actually edit and where to click and all that? So
maybe if you get started, and then people can kind of add on to what they're more interested in.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the chat, but yeah, but really, feel free to help me, to steer me what you want to know, really. Okay, so Wikipedia, so as you know, we all use it all the time, and important is, I think, also politicians use it, journalists use it, students use it. It is just used by everyone, and there's some stats there that apparently it's the 7th most popular website and enormous amount of clicks and views. So it's there and people use it. So we might want to make sure that what they find there in terms of sanitation content is good. And yeah, I got involved 2 years ago. That's when I started, because James Heilman, who was mentioned by Stefan in his presentation, he's a doctor in Canada and Wikipedian, and he's also interested in sanitation, and so he got me into it and he's helped me along the way, and it's been really great. And I'm ready now to help you to also get into it, because it really makes a difference, I think, with Wikipedia, if you've got like a mentor or a tutor who you can just ask questions to. So also, yeah, 2 years ago we created this thing called the WikiProject Sanitation. So in Wikipedia, there's about 2,000 projects, which is just a group of contributors who come together and work on something. So this big one that Stefan was talking about is called the medical WikiProject Medicine, and the quality of the articles is just outstanding. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but you look up something on health on Wikipedia and it is just so good. And now I'm trying to do the same for sanitation together with other people, like Jan and Kevin, who are here. They've also edited articles. So, I'm not the only one doing it, but I'm just the one who's trying to champion it. And when we work on sanitation articles, we can tag them so that they belong to the WikiProject Sanitation and the other one, the medicine one. And once they're tagged, then they get into this offline version that Stefan was talking about. So we've currently got about 500 articles that are important for sanitation that have been tagged and that are connected now with these medical articles, and which are available on this offline version. So yeah, I put some objectives of this wiki project. I think I'll skip over that to save time. This is just a screenshot I did recently where you can see which are the most popular pages from those 500 that I mentioned. So these are the top 20, and you can see here the views per day, and then this column here with the green and yellow is showing the quality of the articles, because they've got a rating system, and then the importance. So if you wanted to get into it, you can pick articles that are currently of low quality but that are important and work on them. Or you can choose or you can pick a topic that you feel passionate about and start working on that one. So, for example, this one is, I don't know how to pronounce this, number 18. I don't know if you can read it. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. That's the Clean India mission, and quite high up here. So, and it's actually not a very good page in terms of quality. So I've been trying to encourage people to improve that page, because it is being read. So you might as well make sure it's a good one. So if you get into Wikipedia, there's 10 simple rules to follow. Wait, Carol had a question. That's good. Yeah, let me just go back here with the colors. Yeah, so the color popularity page. Yeah, so the assessment is done. The GA means good article, so that's a high quality article, and C is a low quality article. So C is low, B is a bit better, A is better, and then good article, and then there's even featured article. So this one here on female genital mutilation, FGM, which also has connections with sanitation, is classified as a really high quality article, called featured article, and I can recommend to you to have a look at that. I can show you later where you can actually see the quality of each article when you bring up the page. So these are the simple rules. I think a lot of people when you get excited about Wikipedia, you just start editing, and then other people tell you, whoa, you should follow the rules. But we all don't really read instructions. But I do recommend that you take a few minutes to read through this. Each of that is linked, and it's obviously all on Wikipedia. Let me see which is the most important one. I guess rule number 6 is super important. You've got to always reference, give a citation for what you're saying. And I'll come back to it just now, but it's about quality assurance. Also rule number 9, write neutrally. It's supposed to be encyclopedic. It's not supposed to be what one organization thinks about a topic, so I think composting toilets are the best. No, it's neutral, it's objective, it's just explaining how things are. Mm-hmm. And then there's these 5 pillars of Wikipedia. So even the top one, Wikipedia is an encyclopedia. It's not, I'll have another slide to explain what it's not. It's free content that anyone can use, edit, and distribute. So whatever you put there, other people can build on, they can take it, they can copy it, they can improve it. Obviously important that editors should treat each other with respect. And there are occasions where you get upset when somebody else criticizes what you've done, and it's just like in the real world, there's sometimes people that you think, but in general, most of them are friendly people, I would say. There is a bit of a male dominance on Wikipedia. It's about 80% males, I think, and 20% female editors. And Wikipedia has tried to change that, and there's reasons for it, and it's quite interesting. So anyway, I encourage all females in particular to get involved, because obviously if only males are writing on Wikipedia, they have their topics that they're more interested in, and they'll focus on those. So it's up to us to make sure the other topics are also given due weight. So yeah, what is Wikipedia not? It's not like a wiki. We often hear about these separate wikis. Like we know about Aquapedia, and even SuSanA has a wiki, but those are different things. Wikipedia is an encyclopedia. Authorship is tracked but not advertised, so you can actually see who changed an article, but obviously you're not, your name is not really that obvious, and it says that you can't get famous with Wikipedia. Actually, it's not true. I think people like James Hyman, I would say he's famous within the Wikipedia community, and because he's doing such amazing work. So very important, it's not a place to advertise, lobby, or push your hobby horse. Even using the forum as a citation is not good enough. When you write something, you need to have good, credible sources for it. So that brings me to this very important question of quality control. And Carol had asked about that in advance, so this is really important. Basically, it's all about references. So Wikipedia is heavily referenced, which means that people who write on Wikipedia, the authors or Wikipedians, they don't have to be experts, but they need to look at documents that experts have written and then pick out the key things, can insert that into Wikipedia articles. So students are actually great people to do Wikipedia editing if they're diligent. You know, if they do a literature review anyway for something, they could easily add some of that to Wikipedia articles. And I've put here an example. This is from a very good article on Down syndrome. And, you know, there's these little numbers that I've circled here in red. And that's, when you click on that, you get to the reference. And a good Wikipedia article has such a number at almost every end of each sentence or end of the paragraph. And I never used to notice them. I used to just use Wikipedia but not look at these references. But now that I'm editing, I've realized, wow, this is actually done very carefully and purposefully. So sometimes I think if only the rest of the world worked like Wikipedia. You know, people say all sorts of things, but they don't actually give a citation. And it's not just quoting somebody's blog. It needs to be a high-quality citation, which is sometimes difficult in sanitation because we don't always have high-quality documents to refer to. But in the medical field, they have better publications, but even there, they have lists of what would be regarded as highly reputable citations, references. Okay, so this was the first thing, was the references. Now the second thing about the quality control is on this page. So how Wikipedia works, when somebody makes a change to an article, then there's these 5 different control mechanisms. So the first one is just an automated bot, which is not a human person. So that bot can detect vandalism, and it's getting better and better. I think it'll pick out keywords like people put in there, you know, the usual, like my friend is gay and things like that. So the bot will pick that up generally. Then there is new change controllers, and then the third one, which I've put in red, is the articles. If people have worked on an article, they usually put it on their watch list. So I've got about 500 articles on my watch list, and if any of those articles is changed, I get an email, and I can see what the change is, and I can easily let it be or revert it. And the hot topics like HIV/AIDS would have 1,000 people watching the article, whereas the less known topics like UDDT or dry toilet would have fewer page watchers. So the more people watch the page, the better it gets, obviously. Now let me continue on here. Yeah, and this is another thing that James told me, which I thought was really to the point. The quality of Wikipedia is less the point than the fact that Wikipedia is what the world is reading. So everyone is using Wikipedia, they're reading it, so let's take the opportunity to make sure what they read is high quality stuff. And this is something every year I say to people, look at this graph here. We had recently World Toilet Day, and this shows how many people opened the page about World Toilet Day on Wikipedia, and it peaked on the 19th at 12,000 people opening up Wikipedia to look at World Toilet Day. And this is probably journalists, this is the general public, and they're thinking, oh, what is World Toilet Day? Let me go to Wikipedia. And then when I look at that article, I'm thinking, it's not that great. Let's make it better. So each year I try to convince people to make it better. So how to get involved? Basically, I would invite you to start editing and ask me if you need any help. Yeah, these are some flaws that we currently have with Wikipedia sanitation content, but I'll skip over that. And I'll leave you with this overall vision of Wikipedia, which is a world in which every single person on the planet is given free access to the sum of all human knowledge. So that ends my presentation, and now I can show you some on my screen how to actually get started, if there's no questions for now. I mean, maybe I can answer these questions here on the chat. So people say use Wikipedia to get an overview and to find the relevant literature, but don't cite Wikipedia, rather cite the original sources that were used for the article. So that should explain maybe Kit's question. And Lucy Concept said, yeah, I don't understand that question of Lucy Concept. And then my email address, yeah, I'll put this here. So Kim, do you think I should just now go into the share screen mode?
Yeah, I think so. But maybe I have a question, I guess. How do you make sure that you're like really contributing, working, organized? I guess what you said about your WikiProject Sanitation, are you kind of trying to organize yourself, like identifying what pages are have like lacking information, or how do you like prioritize what? I guess there is so much to do out there.
Yeah.
How do you like make a contribution in organized way?
Yeah, it is at the moment a bit haphazard, my work, I have to say. It started off with pages that I felt I knew a lot about and I would find easy to edit, which is, for example, dry toilet. And then I'm looking at pages that are read a lot by people and I try to improve those. And then I also use often, maybe can you put this shared screen on and I can maybe show how things are done. Because what I was going to say is, I get inspired by when I look at other people making changes to articles that I'm watching. And then, okay, so can you now, everyone can see this screen here, this Wikipedia page?
I can make it full if you want to see the full screen.
No, I think you should make sure the chat is still visible too, though.
Okay, so we'll leave it the way it is then.
I guess people themselves can make it larger if they want to know.
So,
on the top.
This is the normal Wikipedia page, and let me just go to any arbitrary page. So let's say flush toilet. Now, at the moment, I'm not logged in. So most of you, when you use Wikipedia, you're normally not logged in, right? But I just wanted to point out that even when you're not logged in, you've got here this tab called Talk. I don't know if any of you have ever clicked on it. Probably not, because I never used to click on anything. I used to just read the article. But I invite you to, now that you want to understand Wikipedia a bit better, to click on Talk. So each article has a talk page with it. And on this talk page, people have actually discussed what they think the article how they should be changed. You know, sometimes it's maybe things where you think, oh, what's that? But often this discussion can lead to significant changes. And you can see sometimes there's a discussion about one sentence or one word even, and the discussion goes on for quite a while. So this all goes on in the background. For example, this part here is something that I asked. You can see when somebody writes here at the end, you can see there here in blue who it was. So this is my login name, EVM SuSanA. Actually, I've changed it meanwhile, EVM small. But this is something I wrote a year and a half ago. And when people write without logging in, then it just shows their IP address and not their username. Okay, so that's the talk page. The other thing that's useful is the view history page. So here you can see when changes were made to the article and who's changed it and what was changed. So here again, this is me, and you can see if you click on these two things and I compare the two things, I can see what was added here. Now this is actually the history of the talk page, but what I want to show is that I go to article and then I go on history, and that shows me the changes made to the article. So let's see here, I can see what somebody has changed and then previous edits. And so go back to this view history. So an article that is important obviously gets more changes than a topic that is not attracting much attention. But based on this, you can already see how much work has gone into that article. Now, what else? Another thing that's useful is here on the left, the different languages are available. So this article that is called Flush Toilet exists in quite a few other languages, as you can see here. So I go to the Spanish one and see it here. It's much shorter. So these different languages doesn't mean that the article has been translated word for word. It just means that's how it looks in the French Wikipedia or here in the German one. So if you have a need to have good articles in French, then you can also start by taking the English content and adding it to the French page, for example. Myself, I've only focused on the English articles, I have to say. Even though I could do the German ones, I would have the skills, but it's too much work. So now let me just log in now. So if you want to really do something on Wikipedia, you should get an account. So you would go here, create account, and it's the usual quick username, password. The username is somehow, it seems to be that people don't use their real name, but they use a name that gives some connection to their real name, I think. But you don't have to. A lot of people use also totally arbitrary names. So this is now my username. And I'm just logging in now. And let me go to something more interesting. So here's an article on fecal sludge management that we recently added. It's actually quite new. Dave Robbins did a lot of work on that, which was great. And so now that I'm logged in, I get a few additional things here. Very important here is this watch list. So this is now the articles that I'm watching. I can now see what has been changed. So I can see that today these changes were made, or yesterday on the 23rd of November, we have here somebody made a change about, here we go, this, I wish I knew how to pronounce it. Swash Bharat Abhijan. So I can see here what was changed. Somebody made a little change here. And then I can decide if I think it's correct, then I leave it, or I can undo it if I think it's not correct. So that's my watch list. Let me just make a little pause here because I see some things in the chat and I just want to see what people have said. And also, please interrupt me because I don't know. It seems I'm talking too much.
They're talking about an idea of editathon, that you would have some kind of event or work.
So that's good. Stefan can answer that on the editathon. Wikipedia. Okay. Cool. So yeah, you guys can focus on the chat. I'll just continue here a little bit. So I wanted to show you how to actually edit now. So I've showed you here the watch list. Now, if I want to edit an article, let's say I go to this article on UDDTs, I can just, any article, I can click here on, I've got two buttons. One is called Edit and one is called Edit Source. If I click on Edit, then it looks like a Word document, and I could make a change here. So let's say I want to change minimized to optimized. So I change optimized. I click on Save Changes. And then here I would just mention to people what I've changed. Okay. I would just maybe say small word change. And here I can click watch this page or don't watch this page. So I normally always watch the page that I've changed. And then I would go Save Changes. And now it's changed. So I can just imagine people's alarm bells going up saying, oh, is it that easy to change something? But anyone can change it then. That's right. Anyone can change it. And that's why I showed you earlier on those levels of quality control. So what happens now, there's this change, there's a bot that will recognize vandalism, there's people watching this page that will notice something has been changed, they'll look at it, and so forth. So here in the view history, you can now see here my change, the one that I made. And wait, let me think, what else did I want to say about this change thing?
Can I ask something?
Yeah, so in the view history, you can also see, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. No, just, is there risk that there is like a conflict?
Maybe before you ask, let me just show you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sorry?
Yeah, is there risk for a conflict where people do and undo things between each other?
Yeah, that can happen. And there's like guidelines on Wikipedia that say you can undo and redo twice, but then if you still don't agree, don't just undo or redo. Go to the talk page and put on the talk page, you can say here to this other person, or in general, you can say, guys, I would like to change this. Why have you undone it? And then people can respond there. And normally, like if you look at these things here, be polite, assume good faith, avoid personal attacks. And so normally it works. Occasionally you get a case where you really think, wow, what's this guy doing, And then you can go further and look at this. And in the ultimate case, somebody can be blocked.
Okay.
You get
the person. Yeah.
You get unfortunately weirdos who ruin it for everyone, the usual, just like in real life. But you can look on the person's, for example, if I want to see here, let's say this person has made changes and I'm wondering who's this person, I'd like to know a bit more about this person. So I can click on this person's username. See, this was actually a problem person, Each are fine, but let me pick somebody where I can show it a bit better. Like here. So users can have a little description about themselves, and then you can look on their talk page. This is the user talk page, and this is where people have written that person. So sometimes you can see they have complained about that person, and then you know, okay, this is a problem. And then you can see the contributions that this user has made. You can see what pages have they edited, and so you can very quickly get an idea of, is this person serious about Wikipedia? Do they really want to help, or are they just here to disturb? And luckily, the majority of people are there to do good work. Okay, so now that I've made this change, I wanted to show you here. This might answer Arnold's question. When I click on View History, I've got some additional tabs here. So I can see, for example, the page view statistics. So this takes me to another looking. The page looks a bit different, but it only goes back for the last 90 days. So here I can see how many people are viewing this page, and you can see here also a spike. See, again on World Toilet Day, it had a spike. This one here on urine diverting dry toilets. So that shows that World Toilet Day has an impact. People do suddenly look at these topics more than before. I bet you the same spike would be there for other topics like open defecation and things like that. So that's the page view statistics.
Oh, can I just add quickly something, Elisabeth? Just to say that the number of visits you can see is probably underestimated because of the way the calculations are being made. But also something very important is that for the past 18 months, probably, there's the Google Knowledge Graph. When you do a research on Google, more often than not, now you will see a little box on the right of the results. And those are mostly taken from Wikipedia. So if you have any message to give, okay, well, in that case, you get some advertisement. But if you have any message to give, I would pay extreme attention to the first 200 characters. Usually that's about how far it reaches, more or less 30, depends how your sentence is being built. But if there's something important, put it there.
Oh, you're saying that when Google does the extract for their search, they only pull out the beginning of the page.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so that's.
So if you want to go to Wikipedia, you'd probably
that's
see
right.
Italy.
That's very important. Yeah. See, if I put here Italy, yeah, and you see what is here on the right. Google has, and that's coming from Wikipedia, even though they don't actually say it comes from Wikipedia.
What about tags, though? Doesn't Google look at tags?
No, that's for the thing here on the left side. That would be your normal Google results. But this is new on the right side where it gives you
that's
these.
what you're saying, Stefan. Okay.
Yeah. So Rome.
Yeah.
So it actually means for Wikipedia the traffic. It looks like less people are going to Wikipedia because they don't need to go there anymore if they have it here. But Wikipedia has done all the hard work to provide this information.
Wow.
Yeah, so when I go to UDDT, nothing comes up here on the right yet, but it probably will in the future. But you see at the top is the Wikipedia article on UDDT. Okay, so just maybe again, okay. So just quickly about editing. If you want to practice your editing, you can use your sandbox. And this is also where you can prepare an article before you actually then put it online on Wikipedia. So I'm in my sandbox. Everyone can see the sandbox, but it's not yet part of Wikipedia. I'm working on an article on community health clubs, and here I can make any changes without anyone noticing. So I just want to show you if I wanted to insert an image, this picture here, how that's done. So it's actually pretty easy. So I just go here on edit. Maybe I should also say there's also this edit source, which is the old editor, but it can sometimes still be useful. This is like the HTML, how it really looks in the background, where you've got here certain commands and so on. This is like a section heading and all that. Okay, so that's the old editor. The new editor is what you see is what you get. It just looks like a Word document. Okay, so if I want to insert a picture here, I would put the cursor where I want to insert, and then I go Insert Media. And now, this is now using a huge database of photos. So let's say I put here UDDT Rwanda. Now this is now showing me photos that have already been uploaded to an area in Wikipedia that is called Wikimedia Commons. And all these photos are available as open access so that nobody has a copyright on them. So I can pick any of them and not be worried about infringing or making a mistake with copyright. So here I would then go use this image, then I would put a caption here, and then I would go insert, and here it is, already in the right size and everything. And then I can save the page, and the image is there. And now you might wonder, wow, why are there so many toilet photos on Wikipedia? Well, it's because a lot of them come from SuSanA, from our Flickr database. So if I click on a photo, I get the full information where this photo came from. So I can go here on more details, and it shows me, okay, this photo is in Wikimedia Commons, and this is where it came from. It was taken by Christian Reed, 2011, and this is the source. And the sources for this one is our Flickr collection. And I thought that was pretty awesome because I started this collection on Flickr, and we have 11,000 photos in there. Oh, this is now my link to my private Flickr here, but need to go here. Sorry. Yeah, 11,000 photos. So all these photos are already available now in Wikipedia, so you can use any of them for Wikipedia articles, and this is cool, I think. So let me go back to this photo thing. Now let's assume you want to put in a photo that is not yet already in like your own photo. So you would just go edit. And, oh, actually, no, you wouldn't go edit. First, you would have to upload the photo. You would have to make it available. And that's done here, where it says upload file. And then there's like a wizard. You click here on Commons. Oh, sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. Commons wizard. And this wizard, you know, you go here, you select on your computer where the photo is. And then you have to click the release rights and you have to give it a caption. And then afterwards, it's available. And once you've uploaded it, it's available to everyone. And it's available without copyright. So make sure you only upload photos that you own and that you're willing to share. Okay. That's fairly clear about the photos. I think it's so cool. And this is something anyone can get started with. A lot of our articles on Wikipedia don't have many photos yet. And you can, it's actually not that hard to add these photos in. Maybe just, yeah, if you want to do more editing, you have here the usual. If I want to make this into a subheading, I can do that here with these commands. And then I could make things bold, although I don't need to use this, but bold and italic is there. Then this one is to link. So for example, if I want to link Kenya to the Kenya article, then I would just do this. And now it's linked to the Kenya article in Wikipedia. If the word Kenya appears 10 times in your article, you wouldn't link it each time. That's a convention in Wikipedia. They don't want it to be linked all the time. So you would only link it every so often, basically. In the lead, this thing is called the lead, you would link it, and then in the article maybe a couple of times. Okay, I think I should maybe stop here, and I think we're close to the end of the webinar anyway, but
just a little question about you know, famous people that are on Wikipedia. So you're not allowed to put your own track record up yourself. But I noticed every single hockey player is on Wikipedia, and they can be only 1 month into their career. And I'm just wondering why we don't do the same thing with all of our great sanitation and medical research people. How can we change that? Nobody knows about us.
Yeah, we've got here a page on Jack Sim.
Okay, that's a good. Who could? I mean, that he didn't put up himself. Someone must have done that, right?
Yeah. So you go here on View History, and here you can see exactly who's been involved. I've done a little bit, and this person has done a bit, and they did it anonymously or without having a login. And you can go back to the very first time when it was created. See here. And sometimes you can tell, you might recognize the name, and other times you don't know who it was. Yeah, so it's very important. There's this issue about conflict of interest. So you're not supposed to edit your own page, and or if you're, like, say, you're Jack's daughter or his wife, and you want to say nice things about Jack, that would usually be a conflict of interest. So it's better if you let other people write about you. And in any case, they have to use references. They cannot just say, oh, Jack is this awesome guy. You'd have to have a reference where maybe the Time magazine said that he's, So I think when I looked at the article, I actually changed it a bit because I felt it was overly glowing and it wasn't neutral enough. And then when you look at the article about SuSanA, our own organization, somebody has actually put here a tag that they said, oh, it has some issues. And then I was working on it, and other people have said, you shouldn't work on it because you have a conflict of interest, because I am part of SuSanA. And then I said, no, but I'll be very neutral, trust me. And then, this is also important. I should mention this thing about these tags. So this article has been tagged as being part of the WikiProject Sanitation. And because it's And this tag is done, if you go into the source code, this is what this command looks like. This thing here, WikiProject sanitation class equals C, importance equals low. So in the source editor, it looks like this, and then it comes up like this, if that makes any sense. And so the WikiProject sanitation is this page. And here you can see all the articles. These are all articles that have been tagged. They belong to us, but they might also belong to other projects. So if you, for example, hand washing, so go on the top page of hand washing, it is tagged with WikiProject medicine, and this one, occupational safety and health. So WikiProject medicine is that big one we talked about that is all available via Kiwix offline. And our sanitation articles, they've just been added on. There's only 500 of that, and they're also in Kiwix. Yeah, a conflict of interest is something important to keep in mind, and that's why some important pages can also be protected. So like the page on Obama, when you look here, there's this symbol of a lock. So that page has been protected or semi-protected. So only, I think I could probably edit it because I've got a certain level, but a newcomer to Wikipedia couldn't edit it because it was creating too much. You know, people who don't like Obama, they'll put on there, oh, he's a dickhead, and then somebody else, no, he's not, and all that. So the page has been protected. And this star here means it's a featured article, so it's a very high quality article. And when you look at the page on menstruation, for example, so it's not yet a high quality article, but it's also got a lock. And I'm actually the one who requested this to be locked because I was getting sick and tired of the vandalism on this page. So it's pages that people would put on there, oh, my wife has a bad mood when she's got menstruation or something. So once it's locked, then you're rid of that hassle, and then so that can be done for pages that are. And strangely, it's often our kind of, defecation was another one that we had to lock. Our topics with the poo and with the shitting and all that seems to attract the attention of people who have nothing better to do than, destroy that.
Is it a long process to? Sorry. Is it a long process to get a page locked? Or?
No, not at all. I think there's a page where you can request it, and then there's some admins. I guess, I don't know, Stefan, you might be an admin. The admins then say yes or no. And they look at how much vandalism was on that page. And it can be locked for just 6 months or for 1 month, or it can be locked indefinitely.
Yeah. There's a
maybe Stefan wants to say something about that.
Well, very quickly, I'm not an admin anymore. It's just too much trouble, and actually it's the bad side of people. So it kind of, you sort of lose the sacred fire when you see that so many teenagers trying to put pictures of poo. But essentially, yes, you have a series of tools where you can block an editor. You can delete content quite easily. I mean, more easily than a normal editor would do. Like it's kind of like semi-automated. And the other tools where you can actually, if someone is trying to hide behind a series of different nicknames, you can actually link them, and so you block the IP address and the person cannot connect at all from their computer. It's pretty solid. That part is very, very well managed. Oh, and just so you know, that's very important because there's a lot of people that make that mistake. Administrators have no superior editing rights. Don't be impressed because someone is an administrator. They are just there to do the cleanup and the maintenance, but they are no better than you as an editor. Don't see it. Wikipedia is very horizontal.